Y'all, today we are going to make a Paddy Pig dinner. I recognize that this is not a thing everywhere, just locally here where I'm from. But I'm going to share it with you anyways because it's something that I grew up eating every single year. It's a food combination that I enjoy, and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. I'm not entirely sure how to do this. I did not record this like here's one recipe, here's another recipe. It's more I cooked everything so that it would be done about the same time. So I'm just going to walk you through what I'm doing, but I'm going to tell you the full recipes, all the full recipes, minus like sausage patties because I didn't actually make the sausage. You're just going to make some sausage patties. And let's see, I didn't make a recipe for mashed potatoes because I don't know, I think everybody just kind of has their own recipe for mashed potatoes, but if I recognize that there are some people who I probably don't know how to make mashed potatoes, so eventually I'll share that. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm going to get my bacon frying for my green beans. So I'm just gonna cut off what is probably equivalent to 4 strips. And I'm just gonna dice that up and throw it in a frying pan. And then I have just a little bit of onion, like 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of onion, depending on how much you like. And I'm just going to finely dice that and throw that into the frying pan with the bacon. I'm going to turn that on like medium low heat and just kind of let it fry. I'm going to go ahead and give you the rest of the recipe for the green beans since that's where we started. After the bacon and onions are done frying, basically, you're going to cook it till it's about 75% done. And then you're going to add 2 14.5-ounce cans of green beans. Do not strain these. You need the juice. And then you're just going to salt, pepper, garlic powder to your desired taste. And then you're just going to cook it on medium-low heat until the green beans are heated all the way through, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. This serves about 4 to 6. Next up, I'm going to prep the ingredients for my coleslaw. I personally like the vinegary coleslaw better. My husband likes creamy coleslaw. So I made lightly creamy coleslaw. I have a creamier version also, but I'm going to share these 2 recipes with you now. And probably about barbecue season, we will share some more coleslaw recipes just because that's an easy barbecue recipe to share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by very thinly slicing 1/4 cup of onion. Nope, not 1/4 cup of onion, just 1/4 of an onion. I don't like to use, measurements for this kind of stuff. I usually just use like 1/4 of an onion or 1 whole carrot. So it's going to be 1/4 onion, very finely sliced, and then 1 whole carrot in each bowl, shredded, and then 3 cups of cabbage, which it almost always comes out to be about 1/2 of a large cabbage head. If you get a very small cabbage head, it might not be 1/2 of one, but usually like a large head of cabbage, it's about half. So I'm just in each bowl I have 1/4 of an onion, 1 shredded carrot, and 1/2 of a cabbage head. That is the base for both slaws. I'm going to share the actual recipe here in a minute. So this is feeding my family of 4. So I bought 2 pounds of sausage. This is to feed my family of 4. I didn't really want to put like, this is how much sausage you need to buy, this is how much potatoes you need to buy, because that's all subjective to how many people you're trying to feed. If you're making this for a larger crowd, you can just look at the recipes and, adjust for how large of a crowd you're making it for. So let's say you're making this for 12 people, you might double the green bean recipe. The coleslaws are probably fine. You'll make, a dozen biscuits or 24 biscuits, or maybe you're going to make 10 pounds of potatoes. That all that stuff is dependent on how many people you're feeding. So I didn't want to say, hey, you need to buy this much potatoes and this much Paddy Pig. Some people don't even like leftovers, whereas in our household, we wouldn't eat if I didn't make leftovers. So anyways, so I have my cabbage sliced up. I made some sausage patties. I bought 2 pounds of sausage, and I pulled about half of a pound out and put that aside for my sausage gravy. And then I made the rest into sausage patties, about, I want to say like a 1/4 pound sausage patty, maybe. And once I get those made, I put them in a frying pan on medium heat, and I'm just going to start frying those. Now I'm going to prep my potatoes to make mashed potatoes. Since I'm just feeding the 4 of us, I am going to make 4 potatoes. Like I said, I didn't make a recipe for this. However, after the fact, I recognized that some people might not know how to make mashed potatoes. So I will eventually make a mashed potato recipe, but anyways, I'm going to just make 4 potatoes. There is leftovers after we get done eating, so 4 potatoes is plenty for 4 people, especially when 2 of those 4 people are under the age of 3. Just dicing up my potatoes and throwing them into a pot of water to put on the stove so that they can get soft. While you're watching me chop these potatoes, I am going to ask you, if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you are enjoying this video, hit the like button. And if your town or local community has some kind of interesting, I don't know what you would call this, like, it's not really a holiday. I mean, it is kind of, but not really. But like some kind of interesting tradition, leave me a comment down below, because this, like I said, this is not something that I think most communities do. I think it is just a local thing. Like, I could not find anything on the internet for this recipe, but I've been eating it my whole life. I realized that I missed something. I put in some biscuits. I think I did 8 biscuits. So that's like 2 a person. We only ate 1 a piece. So I just threw in some biscuits. I have not been making from scratch biscuits with all of the extra stuff that I have going on. So I just cheated and used frozen biscuits. If you have a homemade biscuit recipe that you like, make those. If you prefer the canned biscuits, which I do not, you can make those. I really like these frozen biscuits in a pinch. I do have a biscuit recipe that I will share with you eventually. However, today is not that day. So, yeah, I just threw some biscuits in, and I'm just cooking those per the instructions. So, there's that. All right, we are jumping over to the stove. My bacon is almost done, and I forgot to mention that whenever I'm making sausage patties, or anything really with ground pork, I like to cover it for a little bit, just so kind of it like traps in the heat and kind of cooks the meat all the way through, just because sausage patties can be hard to cook through without burning. So yeah, I'm just finishing up my green beans, throwing in some salt, pepper, and garlic. I think I used like a 1/4 teaspoon of each, and that was plenty. However, you'll want to season it to your own taste. Now we are going to make the coleslaw dressing. These 2 dressings are very similar with some very minor differences. So we are going to start out with 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of celery seed, 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and here's where they start getting different. In the creamy coleslaw, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, and then I'm going to mix that together and dump it over that coleslaw. In the vinegary one, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, or oil of whatever type you want to use, and 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. The only vinegar I have in the house right now for some reason is red wine vinegar, which is fine. But that's probably not what I would usually use. I think I usually just use white vinegar, but all I have is the red vinegar. So that's what I'm using. You have all your ingredients in there. You mix together the dressings and dump it over the coleslaw. I just usually put them in a big enough bowl that I can just dump the dressing on and shake them around. I did not plan very well, and my creamy coleslaw is in too small of a bowl, so now I have to get another dish out, a bigger bowl to make my creamy dressing in. You're gonna see me shaking the vinegary one. That's pretty normal, but since my other one is in too small of a bowl, I'm gonna take it out and put it in a bigger bowl and mix it up. The creamy one, you usually end up having to stir a little bit with a fork just because the dressing is so thick. Sometimes it doesn't want to spread out over your coleslaw, cabbage stuff. Yeah, so anyways, you're going to mix those together, and then once you have them mixed together, you're going to throw them into a refrigerator. I would suggest letting those sit for at least 30 minutes just because that kind of lets the flavors soak into the cabbage, and your flavors are going to be married a little bit better. So anyways, just a suggestion. You can't eat it immediately, but it's going to taste a little bit better if you let it sit in the refrigerator for a little bit longer. Over to the stove. I'm checking my sausages and having a tripod malfunction. My potatoes are soft, so I'm going to strain those and make some mashed potatoes. My green beans are nearly done, so I'm just kicking them down to the lowest temperature setting so that they can continue to stay warm. And I'm checking on my biscuits to see where those are in their readiness. Sausages are done, so I'm taking them out of the pan, and then I'm just going to leave that grease in there. We're going to make a country style gravy, and you need about a half a cup of fat. Usually if I'm just making plain country style gravy with no meat in it, I would use butter, but since I'm making sausage gravy, I'm just going to use the sausage fat, and you're just going to fry up your 1/2 pound of sausage. Oh, my biscuits are done. Gotta take them out of the oven. All right, once your sausage gets cooked through, you're going to throw in 3 tablespoons of flour and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch or some other kind of thickening agent. I don't know, xanthan gum or tapioca flour or whatever you prefer. I usually just use cornstarch. I'm going to mix that into your fat really well until it's just fully dissolved. And then after you get it dissolved, you're going to add in 4 cups of milk and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, pepper, and garlic each. And then you're just going to cook that on lowish, not the lowest setting, but low, medium low heat, just until it starts thickening. You want to stir occasionally. And you're going to, it's like thick enough that you can drag a spatula through it and leave a trail, but not so thick that the gravy doesn't go back to its normal spot. It just, you can pull your spatula through it and you can literally see a trail through the gravy. So anyways, once you reach the desired thickness, I believe we are all done because we have completed our green beans and our sausage. And I did not show you the making of the mashed potatoes, but the mashed potatoes, the biscuits are done, our coleslaws are done, everything is done, and it is time to eat. Like I said before, if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if your hometown has any strange, what is the word I used? Oh, God. Why do I suck at this so bad? Traditions. Traditions is the word. If your community has any strange traditions that are not celebrated, through the United States or wherever, leave me a comment down below. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all.